up.
Hey everybody, Dr. Ryan Bones from Beyond Bones Chiropractic. A lot of people don't realize that they can go to the chiropractor and not get cracked. We get all kinds of questions about this, so I figured the best way to show you is to show you. So come on in. I have my beautiful test subject, our fascial stretch therapist, Frederick stretch therapist, Jake. Jake, could you please lay down on the table here for me? So we do a technique called Thompson. And so what that means is that we use a drop table. So there's no twisting, no cracking, no popping, no Jean-Claude Van Damming. We use gentle drops of the table to make our adjustments. The other thing that you'll see me use is this little instrument here. It's called an activator. All it does is delivers a little impulse there so we can fine-tune segments. So let me show you what an adjustment in our office looks like. So after a thorough evaluation, where we actually assess what's going on to find the root of the problem, we come up with a game plan, we look at x-rays, we look at scans, and make the exact determination of what we need to do and how we need to do it. So next step is make that correction. So the reason that I'm looking at Jake's feet is because I'm actually looking at his leg length balance as a reflection of balance in his spine. We have these paraspinal muscles that control how we move, and sometimes when our spine is not moving the way it's supposed to, these can get imbalanced, and so we can see that reflected here, sort of like a little window into the spine. So right now, as you can see, Jake's right leg was about a 1/4 inch shorter than his left leg. Now, an anatomically short leg is pretty rare. More likely, it's functional, which means that there's an imbalance in his nervous system and his spine. The first thing I want to do is I want to see if anything up top, up in Jake's cervicals, are affecting this balance. So what I'm going to have him do is, Jake, go ahead and turn and look to the right for me. That makes it even shorter. Okay, Jake, go ahead and look to the left for me. And now that evens his legs out. Okay, go straight down. What that tells me is that when he looks to the right, these muscles are guarding, protecting something. When he looks to the left, things relax and balance out. It tells me that something in his cervical spine needs help rotating to the left. So the next step is to get the table weighed out for him. The table gets weighed out differently for everybody, so we're gonna do that. Now, the table is pneumatic, so it pops up kind of suddenly, takes a second to get used to, but only pops up about 1 inch or so. So Jake, to get your head weighed out, it's gonna pop up here and here. Good, you can rest straight down. It's gonna fall here about 1 inch. Just leave your head rested down on it. Perfect. So now, since we did our test, I'm gonna have you turn and look to the left. We're gonna find the segment from our evaluation and from palpation exactly where we need to be. Let's go ahead and lift up. Straight face down for me. And then it's just gonna fall away. Just like that. A lot of people are shocked at what little input it takes to actually make a correction in the spine. We're not trying to move things great distances. We're trying to restore motion in a very specific spot in a very specific way. Now, when we're trying to calm down irritation in the spine, the last thing we want to do is physically assault it. So the least amount of input that we can put in, the better it is for healing. So let's go ahead and retest. Jake, go ahead and look to the right and to the left. Good, face down. Now, leg lengths are a little bit closer and didn't change anything in the when he turned in the cervicals, which means that area is clear. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down and assess his low back. So I'm gonna bend his knees up. Got those zero drop Vivo barefoot shoes on. His right leg went a little bit long. What that tells me is that we likely have an imbalance or a torque in his pelvis, which we do. This side's rotated like this. So now we're gonna jump down, we're gonna weigh these pieces out under his pelvis. It's gonna fall from your chest, and it's gonna pop up here under your hips. Good, it's gonna fall from here, and from your legs. Get the table set for down here. Now they're gonna pop up again. And they're gonna be here and here, and they're gonna drop away together. Just like that. Again, very specific corrections, very specific directions. Now, one of the things when people see the adjustments, they're wondering what I'm doing with these little touches. What I'm doing essentially is taking a single segment, pushing it one way, seeing how the nervous system and the musculature responds as it's reflected down here at his feet. Then I push it the other way. Same thing. Just see how the nervous system and the musculature responds. So when I push his spine that way, imbalances, reflected there. When I push it this way, balances out. Tells me this is where we need to make this adjustment, along with all the other evaluation that we've done leading up to this point to know that we have a problem going here. It's going to pop up here, and then it's going to fall down. Just like that. The spine should have this subtle springiness to it. A lot of people ask me, how do you know exactly where to stop? Well, if you've ever played on a piano with a stuck key, you can tell the difference. You know it just doesn't feel the same as the other keys. It's kind of similar with the spine. You'll get to a point where you can just feel that something here is not like the others. So again, between our assessment and the neurological scans that we do and palpation, we know which way we need to make corrections. So Jake, we're gonna have one here under your chest. It's gonna pop up, and it's gonna fall down. Popping up again. Now, since this one's over your lungs, you're just gonna breathe in, breathe out, and then it will fall. Just like that. So we restore that springiness, which not only gets the spine moving better, but see, when the spine isn't moving the way it's supposed to, or it gets locked up, that's called a vertebral subluxation. And when that happens, the nervous system that spine protects is also negatively affected. Irritation on the spine sort of acts like irritation on a phone line or static. When we have static on our nervous system, our brain and our body can't communicate at 100%. That's what we find, and that's what we fix. It's bigger than just aches and pains. It's how our brain coordinates and communicates with our body. A lot of people get these knots in their ribs where their shoulder blades meet their spine, and it feels like you're being stabbed in the back. Well, oftentimes that's a rib head, and so this is going to pop up here. Jake, same thing. I'm going to breathe in all the way out, just like that. We get those ribs moving better, feels a lot better, functions a lot better. So one of our goals at the end of the adjustment, as we're looking at the balance of the nervous system and the musculature, is to have these leg lengths balanced out, which we do. So now that they're balanced out, now that means that we can have Jake sit back up for me. At this point, I kind of like to check things individual to everybody. Well, the whole adjustment's individual. If you go to a chiropractor and the adjustment is not individual or specific to you, find a new chiropractor. It's going to look to your right. It's going to go left. We just assess maybe a specific area that person's struggling with or dealing with, trying to really tailor our care specific to that person. Okay, here's the activator. Little clicks. This one particularly is on Jake's left first rib. When we get these tight traps, which basically everybody and their mom does, because we have forward head posture and our shoulders roll forward, well, that pulls on these first ribs. And so the other thing that we look at with people is their posture, because at the end of the day, I want to help you live better long-term, not just trying to shove something back into place and have it go back the way it was. So we're looking at long-term correction. That's one of our whole focuses here, is helping people get back to 100% and live the life they deserve without their body holding them back. So thank you, Jake. And that's how we do an adjustment here at Beyond Bones Chiropractic.